My name is Bill Baird. I am the host of Mild Bill's Radio Hour every Thursday from 11 to 12 on KRTU Indie Overnight, and you're watching What's on My Turntable. Without further ado, let us begin. Okay. This record is mind-blowingly amazing. He is one of the great arrangers of late 60s, early 70s Brazilian music. This album is like funk, jazz, orchestral masterpiece. He was the arranger for Gal Costa, Arthur Viracai. He is, he released one album. It was thrown into the depths of obscurity, and then all the people on Stone's Throw Records are like, this is the best album ever made. And so he's played a bunch of sold-out shows in LA, and it's absolutely incredible. This album is like, okay, now I'm going to get into my little San Antonio thing. We're in San Antonio here. I researched San Antonio music history for the newspaper, okay? So this is like the best San Antonio music movie ever made. It's done by Les Blanc, legendary documentary filmmaker, and produced by Chris Strakowitz, who started Our Hooli Records, and it's got like everybody in here, like everybody, from Narciso to Lydia Mendoza, Santiago Jimenez Sr., Flaco Jimenez, and it just shows a different San Antonio, and it's beautiful. If you're into like conjunto music, if you're into regional music, if you're into San Antonio, you gotta watch this and listen to this record. This guy, he performed in front of the Alamo for like decades, and he's the most legendary street performer in San Antonio history, and like, I don't know, he's been kind of lost to obscurity, and he's mind-blowing as well, and a beloved San Antonio figure. This is Gary Davenport, San Antonio's entry into the outsider music genre, and he is wonderful. Lydia Mendoza, like, she transcends the Tejano conjunto thing. She's more like a Lead Belly. She's more like Moses delivering the 10 Commandments, okay? So, check her out. This is like probably the best psychedelic record of the 60s. And coincidentally, I was researching Hemisphere 68, and they were supposed to come here to perform, but Howard Butt himself, the head of HEB, nixed it because he said, we're just not into that type of music, which is too bad. This record is amazing. All right. The Modern Lovers. I mean, I just saw Jonathan Richman like last week, and this is his first band with people who ended up in the Talking Heads. It's hilarious. It's like proto-punk, Velvet Underground. The lyrics are brilliant. The Young Marble Giants, Colossal Youth, minimalist masterpiece of post-punk. Absolutely amazing. Arguably the best Texas record ever made, Easter Everywhere by the 13th Floor Elevators. Now, they designed it so that, like, you see where the title is? It's supposed to look like your eyebrows. So you hold it up, and it's like your eyebrows here, and, like, the sun is like your third eye floating above your head, because they were really into acid. But it's a great record. They broke up in San Antonio, coincidentally. Okay. Here is Sandy Bull. This album is totally bizarre. Like, I think he overdosed on Robitussin or something. He's playing with a weird drum machine, and it synthesizes a lot of really bizarre influences like Eastern music. It's all instrumental guitar, and E Pluribus Unum, Sandy Bull. Incredible record. Miles Davis on the corner. Like, this is his... this is really divides the fans of Miles Davis. I love it. You know, it's got this blaxploitation cover. Whatever. It's cool. But it's him, like, he's doing, like, Sly Stone meets Stockhausen. It's totally bizarre. Like, he's making the most insane, like, mixing choices. This is probably my favorite. I don't know. This is the Red Crayola, and if you don't know what this is, like, this is a pinnacle of 1960s Texas music. It was released on International Artists. Printed here in San Antonio. 1422 West Poplar Street. I've gone by there numerous times. I think it's just like an oil change place now. 1422 Poplar Street in San Antonio printed all of International Artists records, which is like internationally renowned. People in England worship this label. And the Red Crayola Parable of Arable Land is like amazing. Bringing us to San Antonio's great Lost Psych album. I spent a year researching this band, and this is my original copy. This is like the nicest record I own. The Children, Rebirth. That is a very psychedelic cover. I met the artist. He confided to me that he was on a lot of LSD when he made it, but that's not really that surprising. Musically, it's kind of like prog meets like Rush Dragon Voice, but like there's some really cool folk moments and get some Hodentown pride. Changing gears completely, we got Bernard Herrmann, one of my favorite composers, probably the originator of polytonality in the United States, and United States' first great modern composer. Well, he's conducting Charles Ives. It's Ives. Ives. So this is Charles Ives Symphony Number 2. Like, it's so crazy. You know, we have this image of like artists as like suffering, you know, in their closet, but Charles Ives like owned an insurance company, like lived in a mansion, and was funding like the most out there music in the world. And Bernard Herrmann like did all of the Hitchcock soundtracks, so he's the conductor, and like they're just a couple of geniuses. Speaking of genius, this is like probably the best live music I've ever seen. Music for 18 Musicians by Steve Reich. Absolutely incredible. If you want to learn about modular composition, it's mind-blowing. Okay. The Faust tapes, legendary krautrock record. When it was released, they were like, it was some weird publicity stunt. They sold it for 99 cents a piece, and it was like the worst reviewed record ever. If you hear it, you'll know, because it's basically like a bunch of German guys in a farmhouse with an unlimited supply of weed, like making just bizarre sound experiments, and it's pretty funny. This is like one of my favorite newer records. It's Chris Cohen, Overgrown Path. It makes me cry almost every time I listen to it. Faust again, because they're amazing. Yes, this is all on my turntable, not all at once. This is Kraftwerk's Computer World. I think Coldplay like stole a song from here, but don't hold it against it. Absolutely amazing album. Very groovy. So as you see, like on my radio show, I'm really into like old stuff, weird stuff with a story. Cluster. This is like, I'm pretty sure my first show was completely devoted to Cluster. These guys are amazing. This is electronic music, basically using like Radio Shack style equipment in 1974, and it's some of the best music ever made. Harmonia is the Cluster guys plus Michael Rother, the guitarist from Neu! Here we go. Will Rigby. think he was the drummer in the DBs. This is like the first time I heard like really weird outsider country folk, and it's amazing. And I think it was released by Georgia Hubley, the drummer from Yola Tango. This just came out, broadcast Maida Vale session, and it's like live versions of broadcast songs. Broadcast being an absolutely incredible band. If you don't know them, rectify that immediately. Broadcast. I know it's a little confusing when you're talking about a BBC radio session and the band is called Broadcast, but trust me. Challenge Google. The Cure was like my jam forever, and this is their best album. It's called 17 Seconds. I'm a Bjork fanatic, and I really love her first two, especially Debut just has a special place in my heart. It's stunning debut. This album just makes me happy. It's got the best samples, the best beats, everything. De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising. And finally, I think this is the first one I picked out, Zuckerzeit by Cluster. Masterpiece. If you're into minimal electronic music, casts a spell, ambiguous, melodic, indefinable, inscrutable, and yeah, that's what's on my turntable.